There have been calls for the public protector's head, Mkhwebane, has come under fire following various errant judgments of error that she's made and the recommendations that she's put out. Daily Maverick's assistant editor Marianne Thamm joins us now via Skype. We invited the Office of the Public Protector and this was the response we received. Hi, unfortunately we aren't doing any at that moment. We are advised to, at this stage, avoid any public discussions on the report in view of plans by various parties to take it on review. The report can be accessed on our website. The Public Protector has had her say through it, and she respects all the aggrieved parties' right to seek recourse through the courts. Regards, and that was from the Public Protector's office. So we speak to Marianne Thamm now, who's written an article about the Public Protector. A very good evening to you, Marianne, and thank you so much for speaking to us. Let's just get into the crux of your article. What were you saying? Are you basically accusing her of dereliction of duty, and why?
Not necessarily. I think, Teresa, it's important to try and look at where we are in South Africa at the moment. I think South Africans are deluged with commissions of inquiry and allegations of corruption, and this has been going on for at least 18 months, if not longer, from the start of the Gupta leaks. And so the country sits in a crisis. We have estimated that 1.5 trillion rand has gone missing, has been misappropriated in the last 4 years of President Jacob Zuma's presidency, and that sort of makes up 1/3 of South Africa's 4.9 trillion gross domestic product. So we have a crisis in South Africa, and we have at these commissions, the Zondo Commission in particular, various people have testified to enormous industrial scale corruption with proof, with evidence from their own mouths. So this is where we find ourselves in South Africa at the moment, and the Public Protector in 2011, the court ruled, the Supreme Court ruled that the job of the Public Protector is to investigate malfeasance wherever it may occur and however it may come to her or his attention. So considering this particular, and there's one report, of course, that she did investigate, which was the Estino report, and which has been highly criticized by the High Court. So the Office of the Public Protector chooses to focus on that one, as well as some other very important reports that were released on Friday as well. But the particular revisiting of the charges against Pravin Gordhan with relation to Ivan Pillai's early retirement are regurgitated, resurfaced once again, has been going. It's a case number that circulated amongst the Hawks and Burning in Tlemeza. The charge was laid by former Commissioner Thamm. Matters pertaining to this early retirement were aired at the Nugent Commission itself. It's in the report. Plus, this pension payout, the paper trail is in the public record. It was endorsed by the Public Services Commission. So it's curious that as a result of two new complaints laid, one by anonymous, and I've reliably learned that it is somebody within SARS who was close to former Commissioner Thamm who laid that complaint, and the other, of course, by Floyd Shivambu, attaching to his complaint to the Public Protector a classified report into the State Security Agency's involvement in SARS back then. So it's very complicated.
But what are you suggesting? That she's been selective in executing her mandate? Because I'd imagine that she'd argue that according to her mandate, she is there to investigate maladministration as opposed to criminal behavior, which has been very much what has come out of these commissions of inquiry. These are the allegations that have been made.
The Public Protector doesn't just investigate maladministration. If you look at the Nkandla report itself, it investigates criminal charges of corruption and fraud. And so there's nothing stopping the Public Protector from instituting an investigation and then placing this with the Hawks or the NPA and asking for further criminal investigation. So it doesn't just pertain to maladministration. It certainly pertains to large-scale corruption in government. What's also interesting to me is that at the moment the Public Protector is also investigating IPID. Now, IPID at present is sitting on several very, very big investigations, including Marikana, which has not yet been completed. But the most important investigation is the capture of SAPs. We have a situation in South Africa where one individual, private individual, owns the codes to SAPS's IT systems and has switched them off twice. So we have, over and above looking at that particular case, we have at least 20 to 30 senior police implicated in various forms of corruption involving around 6.2 billion rand siphoned off from the criminal justice budget over a period of at least 10 to 15 years. And the public protector has now instituted an investigation not only into Robert McBride himself, but into the appointment of investigators looking at this particular very, very big SABC case, which could implicate the ANC as well, because it is investigating the attempted procurement of a grabber just before Maverick for 45 million to launder money to allegedly buy votes. That little move was scuppered, but it is on camera. There are affidavits. And there's an earlier case involving an operative called KGB Chabalala, a well-known criminal hijacker, stolen money off a plane. And that case as well pertains to Mangaung and an apparent 53 million rand in cash that was distributed to buy votes.
I'll ask you this question. What is nuance that is coming out of the commissions that you feel that it supersedes not only these commissions, but also would mean that the public protector has a right then to duplicate the functions that are already there?
I think she can select which one of those cases particularly have deprived South Africans, ordinary South Africans, of what was meant to be delivered to them through the repurposing of budgets in order to give kickbacks, in order to pay middlemen. A lot of them are private individuals, private companies, banks, and as we know, auditing firms. They're all implicated. And these are the cases which cut to the heart of state capture. And the public protector could definitely investigate and offer remedial action in those instances, particularly in those. I mean, the evidence is overwhelming at the Zondo Commission, at the Nugent Commission. The high-level panel review into state security suggests that the entire state security apparatus, and let's not forget the public protector was a member of the State Security Agency, was repurposed in order to serve the needs of a faction in the ANC and the sitting president. These are very, very serious allegations. These speak to the very heart of national security and the abuse of executive powers and ethics. And the public protector has the mandate also to investigate executives around the Ethics Act. So there is enough information out there for the public protector to initiate investigations, as did the previous public protector, Thuli Madonsela, into PRASA, into Nkandla in particular is the big report. And then, of course, the state capture report, which has ended up in the Zondo Commission. That is a gift from the Public Protector's Office to South Africa. So the powers that she enjoys as an independent body of oversight are enormous. And it is interesting because if you look at the Gordhan case in particular, and it has a political history, you cannot ignore this. Burning in Tlemeza, dictating to the NPA, burning in Tlemeza and the Hawks, withholding exculpatory evidence which proves there was no maladministration. I think the scale of what you're looking at, let's say you say, well, perhaps there was an administrative error. But the point is that documentation, that evidence is already in the public realm. It has been
about the gift that keeps on giving, as you're referring to, for instance, the state capture inquiry. Let's just take the allegations that have been made outside of or coming out of Bosasa. The commission itself says it's a truth acquiring exercise. Its work is not done. Should she then institute her own investigations? Is there not danger that should she find differently from the outcomes of the commission, that there could be confusion, that even those institutions themselves could be undermined and even general confusion in terms of their credibility?
Well, not so if the facts that exist prove a particular point. So I think that the public protector can look at a situation in the country and decide where it is clear that there is malfeasance, corruption and fraud in government, and she can make a decision to investigate those. I mean, over and above Bosasa and allegations of cabinet ministers receiving massive bribes, which points to an abuse of office, she's very, very she's open to investigating this. But there are other earlier testimonies of cabinet ministers being told that they're going to be appointed. I mean, there's an undermining of the state, in a sense, by various members of the executive. That's not been looked at, and that those are earlier testimonies that come from SABC Jonas. We also know that the Zondo Commission is incredibly ill-resourced and is having to collate a massive amount, which will then be passed on to the NPA. The Public Protector, nothing stops her from conducting her own investigation and passing this on to the NPA or the Hawks. She has that power.
Having said all of this, do you think that she should go? Should she be recalled?
Well, I think it's not a personal feeling that I have. It's just 3 court judgments have been extremely damning of her findings. It's clear that, in particularly, I mean, the CASAC DA High Court thing around Vrede Dairy, 220 million rand that didn't get to beneficiaries, and the report, didn't seek to interview the political principals at all. Then the recommendation she made in the Reserve Bank matter that the constitution be altered. And then the third one was the ABSA case. So it's quite clear at this point that the Public Protector has been found wanting by the courts. It's not what we think, it's what the courts have found. And what people who have been challenging her reports, which they are entitled to do, what they have done. So if this challenge gets to court, and again it is found on the 4th occasion that the Public Protector has misinterpreted the law, or that she has not understood her mandate, I think the discussion needs to be opened up. Is she competent? Is she fit? And the timing also of the release of this particular report and what it unleashed in terms of people supporting the Public Protector, and those are often people who themselves are about to face scrutiny with regard to VBS, with the plundering of the bank. So there are a lot of people who she could be investigating at this point, and has chosen, I mean, particularly to revisit an old case, which let it go to the court, let it go all the way, let the courts decide. And then also IPID, is interesting to me. Thank
you so much for your time, Marianne Thamm, Assistant Editor at Daily Maverick. Thank you very much for talking to us.